Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Sold Sign Real Estate Unplugged. We are your host and favorite realtors, Naya
and Lauren,
and we're so excited to be back with you another week. If it's your first time here, welcome, and we're going to hop right into this week's episode.
I had a buyer who was excited about buying a newly built home. They loved the idea of everything being brand new. No worn out carpet, no previous owners, no surprises. The model home they toured was gorgeous. Designer finishes, upgraded kitchen, perfect layout. They were ready to sign on the spot. But here's when things started to go sideways. They assumed that everything they saw in the model home came with the house they were buying. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Most of what they fell in love with, hardwood floors, fancy lighting, custom cabinets, were upgrades not included in the base price. I stepped in and explained the importance of reviewing the upgrade list and what was standard versus optional. They were shocked to learn that the price of the home could go up by tens of thousands of dollars depending on the selections they made at the design center. We also made sure to have a third-party inspection, even though the home was new. And it's a good thing we did. There were a few issues, nothing major, but enough to require a builder follow-up. A misaligned door, a loose faucet, and some installation missing in the attic. The last thing I helped them with was understanding the builder's contract. Unlike traditional home sales, builder contracts can be more one-sided and harder to negotiate. But by reviewing it carefully and asking questions up front, we made sure they were protected. In the end, the buyer got a beautiful home, but it could have gone very differently if we hadn't slowed things down and done our homework. Love, I'm obsessed with new construction and bringing a realtor.
Yeah.
Not because I'm again, buyers, you guys, buyers do not pay us anything. We're just there to advocate for you. But everything in here is exactly what we do and the reason why we want to show up. Even if you bring us in or if you just call us and say, hey, I think I'm purchasing new construction. Do you have any advice? I'll just give you the advice.
Yeah.
Probably right then and there. You don't have to necessarily always put our name down. Of course, we would love that, but we want to advocate for you so that we do this a lot. And we know when a walkthrough happens, when you are first building your lot and they're breaking ground, things we are looking for specifically that a buyer, especially a first-time new construction home buyer, just may not know or understand because they don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
But we do.
Yeah.
And I love the new construction space. I really do.
I was going to say, and it can be, as a buyer in a new construction space, it can be easy to overlook or forget to ask the questions because everything is so new and beautiful and staged. And you want to keep the furniture and the plates, everything. So, yes, having an advocate with you is really important. While it's a really exciting and pretty experience.
Yes, it is. And I tell buyers, I'm sure you do too, when you're with new construction, is when we're sitting down with the sales rep, tell them everything that you want, right? So it's yes, I want a porch. Yes, I want extra windows. Yes, I want this. Yes, I want. Go through it all. I want a fireplace. I want this. I want. Just list everything, right? And then let the sales rep tell you what that number is, that bottom number is. Then you're whoa, wait a second. Yeah. We actually don't need all of this. So now, we as the realtors, we're kind of just sitting there. We're letting you just, hey, list everything that you do want. And then when you see the price, you're kind of surprised. And then you'll go back yourself and you'll say, actually, we don't really need this. We'll take this off because certain things are just... to have it wrapped in your mortgage sometimes just does not make sense. And that's what I think some buyers don't realize. If you're oh, I want a fireplace. Okay, well, the fireplace is $10,000. Do you really want a $10,000 fireplace wrapped into your mortgage? New construction homes do not come with washer and dryers. They will offer that to you as an option to purchase, but do you want to purchase that outright and choose which washer and dryer you want, or do you want them to choose it, whether you got the front load, top load, and do you want that also wrapped into your mortgage? There's no reason, I feel to have certain things wrapped in. Exactly. Now, if there's something huge padding for if you have carpet, and the padding in the carpet makes a huge difference. You don't want to go back and do that later.
Yeah.
Like get the padding now, like add that now. Recessed lighting. If you know the house already, it does not come with recessed lighting and may only come with like wiring for a fan, get the recessed lighting, because doing that after is a disaster. And that's something that you don't want to. So it's certain things that you want to splurge on that makes sense to do it while they're already building the house out than having to go back and do it later.
Yes. Ooh, that's such a good point.
Yeah. It just doesn't, to me, doesn't make sense. Some other people, they may be like, no, I don't want that. But if you know, like, hey, I want a porch. I've always wanted a porch. This is going to be like my home, my forever home, then that's fine. Get the porch, because you're not going to be able to build out a porch later. You're just not going to be able to.
Yeah.
And getting a lot that you want. If you're like, lots come with certain premiums. And when we say lot, we mean what lot are you going to build on? Because if you are in a community, they are going to have the community laid out for you on like a plan, just like on a screen. They're going to say, which lot do you want to build your house on? Certain lots come with a premium, and that premium is because the house may back up into woods, where other homes are backing up to maybe someone else's house, but the ones that have a premium lot, they may cost an extra $30,000. So if you have a budget of, let's say, I don't know, $700,000 for your house in general, and you walk in and the base price is already, let's say, I don't know, let's just say $650.
Yeah.
Automatically $650 because of the size home you want, like the actual kind of model that you have. If you know it's $650,000, it has the bedroom space you want. Now you're adding $30,000 automatically just for the lot premium. Yeah. So now you're at $680. So now you're like, okay, but I want the porch. Okay, that's an additional $20,000. All right. Now you are like right there at your max budget. You haven't even done your upgrades. You haven't even visited the design center. So you really have to like kind of start lower than what you're expecting so that you can start to build up and have room in your budget.
Yeah. And when possible, getting into the community earlier than later also saves money and allows you to build equity based on all the people who will come after. And those prices go up as the lots dwindle.
Yes, that is so true. I forgot all about that.
So that is like a part of cost thinking as well.
Get in early. That's such a good point. You definitely want to get in early. Yeah. Because like I said, the houses, they're going to go up. What do they normally go up? What would you say? Like 10,000
at least.
Yeah. If they're like releasing like 20
like section by
then that next section is going up 10,000. Then that next. So think about it. If you get in first and they have like 8 to 10 sections of homes, that's $80,000 to $100,000 just in equity before the community is even finished being built. And you're like chilling. You're in your house already. You have those. And don't get me wrong. Like there are certain things, and I learned this building that even though the homes are more expensive, at the end they do offer more things in the house.
That is true. That
I didn't realize. Which is crazy. I had no idea.
So because they're like at the end at that point and they're just like,
they cost more and they will offer more. Like they will give you more options. Like for example, if we have like a 4th floor loft, they would say, I'm like, oh, can I get a door to the loft? And they're like, no, like we don't offer that because we were one of the first ones to build. Now, listen, because we were already here, I was going into everybody's house, okay, that was getting built in our neighborhood, just seeing what people had. By the time we got to the end of the community, they were able to have a door in their loft and a bedroom, like a full-size bedroom, and a fireplace option that we never even got.
What?
We were never even given that opportunity to even say, oh, can we get this? They're like, no, we don't offer that. Now, maybe they didn't offer it because of the price that our home was, but we got in early and we do have equity. But after walking into other people's homes, but this is before they moved in. This is while obviously like they were building, and before anyone moved in, we got an opportunity to just walk into the different homes and kind of see what all was being put in there. And they absolutely got different options than we did. So there is a downside and upside, but I like what Naya said, I would prefer to move into the home earlier personally, and then I could have more equity in the house.
Wow.
I would prefer to do that. So
Yeah. So I guess there's still a pro and a con, I guess, to either one.
I
You know
like
what's
your
always
list.
interesting to me too is like when they get down to selling what was the model home. Yeah. I haven't had a client who's bought a model home. Have you?
No, they weren't
Yeah,
my
because they've
client.
always
No.
got like, you guys have picked a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's always interesting to me too. I always like when I see the model homes, I'm always like, I wonder who will get this.
Yeah, I'm like, is
'Cause
this
it'll
for
be like
sale
the last
yet?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this for sale yet? And you have to go in and like sometimes ask, and they may say, oh, it's already sold. It was sold like from the beginning, because someone may come in the beginning and say, hey, we'll wait for the model home, so we want to go ahead and just buy it. And they'll say, okay, but you won't be able to buy it for
Until,
maybe a
like,
year or
literally,
two.
yeah.
Until the community's done. They're like, that's okay. And it will be, because they have to
The model
convert
homes are in a
it.
good spot. Yeah,
They
they'll
are
have
in a
to
good
convert
spot.
it. They're always like on the first, corner.
Yep, they are. And then usually like the office is the garage. So they gotta go in, change out but they
is
come
so
with all the
crazy.
finishes and fixes, but thousands of people have walked through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to do a little change
Yeah.
some things, and you don't get
Yeah.
to keep the furniture. So if you're ever wondering like, oh my God, the model home, you get to keep the furniture that's inside as well. No, you don't. The stagers will be coming to pick up their
Right.
furniture. So it's just the home itself with all of the like bells and whistles, but the furniture does not come with it. So
Yeah.
don't feel like you're missing out on that. Inspection is probably one of my favorite things to talk to buyers about. I just had a buyer client ask me the other day, should we do a pre-inspection or a post-inspection? And I was like, if you can, do both. But
Yeah.
if you're only like, I'm only going to do one, always do a pre-inspection, which is a pre-drywall. So you can do a pre-drywall or a post-drywall. So drywall just means before the walls go up. So you walk into the house while it just has it's like framed out, and you can kind of see everything's open, but you can tell like what's a bedroom, what's a bathroom. No appliances or anything is in there, but you can see it before, again, they close it up and they close the walls. And I always say bring in a third-party inspector to come in, see, and a lot of them that realtors work with, they are used to doing new construction and have probably done an inspection in that community specifically as well.
Right.
So they know what to expect. But I do think it's an investment. It does cost. It is a cost to the buyer, of course, but you might as well just do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, because it could be more expensive
I was
later.
gonna say it could be a bigger cost later.
Yeah. So doing it now and having that report really
Yeah.
helps, and you can kind of give it to the builder and say, hey, this is what we mentioned, this is what we told you. And then the post drywall is just obviously ensuring that everything was corrected that was on that report. So I love a good inspection for
Yeah.
new construction anyway.
And
So,
then you'll have some type of warranty generally for a year for the
Yep.
home also.
yeah.
So getting the pre-inspection is good, and then knowing that you'll have the warranty after for
Yeah.
a limited time.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about like all the upgrades, kind of making sure you're pricing the house well, your inspection. Another thing with realtors is we really have good relationships. A good realtor will have good relationships with the builders. So they never mind seeing us coming. So if you ever think as a buyer, if you ever think like, well, do I really need to bring a realtor in? I feel like it's a waste of their time. It's not a waste of our time. We promise. Like, it's not. And the builder appreciates us because we are bringing you in as a client. So they do appreciate us. We are usually getting paid 100% at this point from the builder. So again, buyer, you don't have to worry about our commission. Again, we're just there to advocate for you and make sure you get everything that you want in the house. And you're kind of staying on track with your budget. Because
Yeah.
if you walk in and say, hey, we want this budget, and you're like, whoa, why are we? Because what'll happen is you'll price out all these things and then forget that you have to go to the design center. And then you're like, well, wait, how much is the design center? And I'm like, okay, well, the design center can be easily like $15,000 to $20,000. So you need to drop whatever you're doing now here, sitting here in the sales office, drop it by $20,000 if you're already at your budget, so that you can stay at that
Yeah.
budget. And some people like go over you know, because
Yeah.
they're like, we really want this. Like
Right.
this is worth having, and it does make again more sense because it can be more costly to do certain things after the fact, after the house is already built. So I love the new
Yeah.
construction. Yes.
I know. I think
my
overall,
favorite thing.
it's a really fun, exciting process.
If you can wait, it's
If you,
hard.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a good point.
Yeah.
If you can wait, yes. What is the longest a client has had to wait?
Probably a year.
A year.
Yeah, it was maybe not. Yeah, it was. I think it was 10 months, so not necessarily
Okay,
a year,
perfect.
but it was a big house, so it was worth it. And I always tell them because we'll get clients and it'll be like, we really want to move in this day. We really want to move in this month. You can't get it any sooner. I said, do you want the house to be done right?
Right.
They are building this, so it can be done quickly, but it may not be done right. And they also have like they're putting their name on the line, so you don't want to
Yeah.
rush a job, not a new construction, not a house. This is something that you're going to be
Right.
living in. It's an investment. So if they say, hey, you're signing something in, you know, in May and it's not going to be finished until October, November, take your time.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do because we want to make sure it's right. And you're going to be getting an inspection. So there's certain things that just need to happen. And if they are going into the winter, you want to make sure that they finish all of the outside first during like the spring, summer months so that it doesn't slow down. And that way in the winter time, they're doing all of the interior things. Yeah.
That's a good point too.
So timeline is like big. So if you can wait a few months, I
Yeah.
definitely think it's worth
that's
it.
so fun.
I know it is fun. It's fun going back and forth to
Yeah.
seeing it and driving around.
the
It is.
progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the process. It is good.
Awesome.
Yeah. But that is all for new construction. Bring a realtor with you. I feel like it will only help you. It will not hurt you. If you have any questions about it, you guys know where to reach us. Thank you again for joining us for another episode. Please don't forget to follow us and subscribe on YouTube. You can also watch our podcast on any platform that is your favorite. And we look forward to seeing you next week.